Good afternoon, folks. Welcome. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so, letting everybody get into the room. We have about 53 participants that have registered for the webinar this afternoon. So thanks and welcome to the session. All right, folks, we'll get started. There'll probably be a few stragglers coming in, but thank you very much for joining us today. And welcome to the webinar for the Atlantic Canada Certified Sites program. My name is Joe Brennan. I am the program manager for the project, and I'll be moderating the session this afternoon. I have with me my colleagues from the provincial and federal government, and we'll let them introduce themselves. Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Cluett-Vizard, the Director of Investment Attraction with the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. I'd like to hand it over to Heather Henniker.
Thanks, Michelle. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Heather Henniker, and I'm an Investment Attraction Executive with Invest Nova Scotia, and I'll hand it over to Joel.
Thanks, Heather. Great to see the turnout this afternoon. Welcome. Joel DeWolf. I'm with the Investment Attraction team at Opportunities New Brunswick. Over to you, Joe.
Thanks, Joel. Just going to shut our videos off and allow you to see the full screen. So just wanted to let you know, a few housekeeping items before we get started, that this session will be recorded and made available for further viewing on our YouTube channel, shared with the participants, shared with our FDI team and colleagues that are presenting here today, so they can share it with folks that could not make it today. And we'll also have it available on our social media feeds. So this session is also available in en français, so simulcast translation. We have a translator that's with us today. So in terms of taking advantage of that, attendees must choose either English or French audio channel to hear the language of their choice. There is an interpretation icon at the bottom of the screen that looks like a globe. This allows you to listen to the meeting language of your choice. Either participant needs to select French or English, and this will cover off the audio portion. With respect to the video, please select the presentation of your choice, and this can be found at the top menu bar under View Options, and the options are either French slides or English slides. There is a participant button as well, so you can view the other participants that are in the call today, and we'll also have time for Q&A at the end of the session. So on the agenda today, we'll be going through the introduction or reintroduction, if I will, of the Atlantic Canada Certified Sites program. The program has been around for the last better part of 2 years. It was launched in 2 different phases, and we made some changes to it just recently over the winter. As the program matured, we found ways to make it a little bit more user-friendly, have a better user experience, and then also bring this program to even more property owners throughout Atlantic Canada. We'll also go through the reasons why you should become an Atlantic Canada Certified Site, and then the steps on how to become an Atlantic Canada Certified Site. And this is brought to you by the provincial and federal partners. So the 4 provincial governments as well, we have partners from ACOA and Invest in Canada. And this is a pan-Atlantic initiative bringing together Atlantic Canada's federal and provincial partners to provide exposure and attract investment to the Atlantic regions through the promotion of pre-qualified development sites. This initiative is all about fostering economic growth in Atlantic Canada by helping development-ready sites and industrial buildings within Atlantic Canada get seen and sold. So what is the Atlantic Canada Certified Site designation? The Atlantic Canada Certified Site designation certifies sites across Atlantic Canada as development ready, creating a roster of quality properties for investors around the globe and site selectors. For investors, certified sites mean a faster turnaround time, quicker approvals, and lower risk, so they can make investment decisions and break ground on new development projects more efficiently. The Atlantic Canada Certified Site designation sets consistent standards for the certification of sites looking to be used for development. So the designation puts in place all key reviews, documents, and assessments most commonly required by investors and site selectors. Sites only receive their certification designation after an assessment review conducted by an independent third party with extensive knowledge of the commercial site attraction industry. And for our partner, we've chosen Turner Drake and Partners. They've been a very good partner with us over the last couple of years on this project, operationalizing the project and also doing the desktop reviews as well as the on-site reviews for the sites that are going through the certification process. A certified site designation signals that a site or industrial building is development ready now. When a site becomes certified, it's an official acknowledgement that the site's suitability and readiness. This is Atlantic Canada's only site certification and network of pre-qualified development-ready sites. I'll now pass it along to Michelle, who will take us through the next portion of the presentation. Michelle?
Thank you. Why offer the Atlantic Canada Certified Site Designation? The goal is to provide investors with access to key data and property information they need about a location's availability, utilities, transportation access, and environmental records. This helps investors make faster site selections that align with their specific needs. This also brings attention to development-ready, high-quality sites across Atlantic Canada that are primed for investment opportunity. There are many benefits to getting the Atlantic Canada Certified Site Designation. Properties get seen. Certified sites are marketed and advertised with an advertising campaign to a targeted group of site selection consultants and investors from around the world who are looking for excellent turnkey opportunity. Attract investors and site selectors. When a site gets certified, it becomes more attractive to investors and site selectors who then have the key data and property information they need to speed up site selection decisions, reducing both the risk and time to market. Acknowledgement that a site is primed for development. A certified site designation means sites are basically pre-qualified. For investors, this signals all the key documents, reviews, and assessments most commonly required are in place, which means lower risk, faster turnaround times, and quicker approvals. For property owners, certification attracts attention to their site, helping them to sell their property. This is a win-win for everyone. How does a site get certified? A certified site designation is issued to properties that have successfully met a set of predefined requirements commonly used in the commercial and industrial real estate sector. What are the steps to become designated as an Atlantic Canada certified site? Your property will be designated as Atlantic Canada certified site after you successfully demonstrate that your property meets a set of criteria. And this includes information like availability, utilities, transportation access, and environmental records. There are 4 phases under the assessment. The process begins with a self-assessment form along with a pre-assessment consultation. Then this is followed by documentation review and a property inspection conducted by a third-party certifier. Certifications are then awarded to successful sites based on quality score evaluation. I'll now hand it off to my colleague, Heather.
So what kind of sites can participate? The first one we'll cover is development land office. These are sites with end use earmarked as commercial office or redevelopment sites with end use earmarked as commercial office, typically with development permissions in place. Development land mixed use. These are greenfield development sites with end use earmarked for mixed use or redevelopment sites with end use earmarked for mixed use, typically with development permissions in place. Mixed use is a type of urban development, urban design, urban planning, and/or a zoning classification that blends multiple uses, such as residential, commercial, cultural, institution, or entertainment, into one space. Next, we'll cover off is vacant buildings industrial. These are completed or constructed industrial spaces that are not currently occupied or soon to be vacant. Development land industrial, sites with end use earmarked as industrial space or industrial redevelopment sites with end use earmarked as industrial space, typically with development permissions in place. So what are the eligibility requirements? All sites must have price and terms of sale provided, 3-phase power, access to municipal water and wastewater, and all sites must have telecommunications service, environmental site assessment or ESA phase 1 complete, frontage and access from a public right-of-way or equivalent. The next one we'll cover off is development land. These are independent sites with 3 contiguous acres or half an acre minimum parcel of land in a downtown location. For multiple sites in an industrial park, 5 acres across all sites being certified. Municipal confirmation of commercial use and an application endorsed by a planning official. And now I'll hand it over to Joel.
Thanks, Heather. I'll continue on with the site categories. So for development land mixed use, the minimum requirements are 3 contiguous acres, but in a downtown location, a parcel can be a minimum of a half acre. Again, a letter from the municipality confirming the property is zoned for mixed use is required. And similar to some other categories, the application needs to be endorsed by a planning official of the applicable provincial, municipal, or regional economic development organization or delegate. For vacant buildings intended for industrial use, the minimum requirement is 20,000 square feet. And there also needs to be that letter from the municipality confirming the property is zoned for commercial use. The application needs to be endorsed, of course, by a planning official of the applicable provincial, municipal, or regional economic development organization or delegate. For development land for industrial use, for an independent site, the minimum requirement is 5 contiguous acres on a single site, but it's also acceptable to have multiple sites in an industrial park that total 5 contiguous acres across all sites being certified. The applicant just needs to clarify if contiguous or not. Again, a letter from the municipality confirming the property is zoned for industrial use needs to be part of the application, and that application needs to be endorsed by a planning official of the applicable provincial, municipal, or regional economic development organization or delegate. So if the land, development land has various uses, which category should it be listed in? The short answer is that there are no limits. Applicants with development land may choose to certify their sites as both office and industrial, certifying them as flex sites that can be developed for a variety of uses. Who conducts the application review and selection? A third-party certifier assesses and assigns a rating to each application received based on the potential for a site to meet the eligibility criteria given the characteristics outlined in the application form. Joe mentioned earlier that Turner Drake and Partners have been performing that service for us. Then the Atlantic Canada Certified Site Team, which is made up of representatives from across Atlantic Canada, does the application selection. They review the application rating submitted by the third-party certifier and will select sites based on the certifier's ratings and the target quotas for each province. You can learn much more about Atlantic Canada Certified Sites by visiting our website, seen on screen now, atlanticcanadacertifiedsites.com, or you can obtain additional information by contacting a representative from any of the 4 Atlantic provinces, and you see their contact information here as well. Thank you again for joining us today for this webinar on how the Atlantic Canada Certified Site designation can show the world the potential of development-ready sites. And I will hand it back to our fearless moderator, Joe Brennan.
Thanks, Joel. Before we go to Q&A, just wanted to let you know next steps and cover off a couple other items with respect to the certification process and application. So regarding next step, if you want to take advantage of the certification program, go to that website, atlanticcanadacertifiedsites.com, as Joel had noted, and you can sign up for an account. It's free. You complete the initial site assessment for your property. I will get a notification, and the property owner will as well, that the site has been submitted and is being reviewed. I'll reach out with some additional information. We'll have a consultation as well regarding the property, whether it is in a pending state because it did not meet one of the minimum requirements or that it is approved. And as noted, there are costs associated with the program, and most of them are covered by our funding partners and the funding that's applied to the program. But there is a cost that's associated with the program as an application fee. It's a one-time fee, and it's due midway through the process. it's a $500 fee that's due by the property owner. And as Joel noted, and the other colleagues, that if there are multiple sites within an application, that is only one fee. So if it's a contiguous acre, say 4 or 5 PIDs that make up the 5 minimum acres required, it's just one application fee. It's not $500 for each PID. So you can cover that off in one application. So again, thanks everyone for participating in today's webinar. I'll just go to the Q&A. So we had a question here, do you have to pay money up front? So to answer that question, I think I just covered that off. It's midway through the process. The certification process can take anywhere from, we've seen some several weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to have their property certified. And it could take upwards of a year, depending on where the property is in terms of meeting the requirements. Some time lag may happen due to completing an environmental site assessment that could add to it, maybe getting services to the site. We found as the program matured and working through the program with property owners as well as Turner and Drake, some of the ways we made some streamline to the process was we asked for official letters from the different telcos and the power companies verifying service. So to speed that up, we allowed emails coming in from the different providers. We also looked at certifying or verifying services by Turner and Drake by doing pictometry and then their on-site assessment. So to answer that question, there is a fee and it's due midway through the process. A second question, if you make changes to the property, do you need to get recertified? No, it does not have to be recertified. We just would like you to notify us, say your property was a 30-acre property, you sold a portion of that property, as long as you still continue to meet based on that sale of said parcel of that property, as long as you still meet the minimum requirements for certification, we would just update your listing on the site. So it would stay within the program. Another question, how many properties have been certified since the program commenced? We have 10 sites certified. We have another 17 in the certification funnel that are working their way through the certification process. And we have currently 82 landowner accounts set up. So 82 different municipal units, property owners, private landowners that have signed up to take advantage of the program. Next question, how many certified properties have been sold? We have one site that's potentially pending sale currently right now. We had another site that did sell in New Brunswick. One officially and one in the works. How many certified properties, sorry, I just wrote that one. How many sales versus number of certified sites since the beginning of the program? So that would be 1, I guess, to 10. We're looking to, now looking at this program, we stood the program up during the pandemic. So when we took the program on, it was the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, and we launched the program phase 1 in September of 2020. Phase 2, which was kind of the marketing program. Once we had sites certified, we started marketing to foreign direct investors around the world and through our marketing campaign. So currently, we're hoping our goal is to hit 30, and with the 17 that are in our funnel, 1 is pending certification. We should have that ready to go next week. So hopefully in the next year and a bit, we'll meet our targets for our certification goals with the group. And with these changes, we're hoping that will actually increase the number of landowner accounts as well as those looking to avail and apply for certification. Can the application be made by the municipality for municipally owned land? Yes, it can be. It can be made by the municipality. We have many sites currently that are municipally owned, and the applicant is the municipal unit. And what are the benefits of getting certified? Is there opportunity funnel that we're not getting access to through our work with Opportunities New Brunswick and Invest in Canada. So with respect to the certification program, as noted, and it shows investors that there are quicker turnaround times, that the sites are meet as a predetermined standard for development-ready sites, and it's marketed through our program. So the program itself has its own marketing budget, and we promote this to different segments and markets around the world periodically throughout the year. Not to mention our colleagues and partners around the table with us, Opportunities Brunswick, Invest in Canada, Innovation PEI, ACOA, Invest Nova Scotia, and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. They have this at their disposal as well when they're meeting with different investors, when they have different trade missions that are on the go. This is something that they have as a tool in their toolbox when people come looking for development land, vacant buildings that meet certain criteria. They do have this at their disposal to be able to promote on behalf of the landowners and municipalities that avail of this program. Next question, do you have to have water and sewer already on site? Good question. No, you do not. We ask, though, if there is no water or wastewater in order to participate in the program, we ask that there is a plan that is developed with proper costing. So a person that's purchasing that land, they know how much the cost is either per acre for the land or total parcel to purchase, what that total cost is. And if it's not serviced by water and sewer, what they need to know what type of costs are associated with that. So we ask that there's a plan that goes along with the and costing to go along with that to be able to avail of the program. So we have a couple currently that are in the certification funnel that are working towards the plan for water and wastewater and costing that out so they can avail of the program. What is the typical turnaround time from the application to site certification? So that varies. It can be as quick as just under a month, as we've seen with one site where all their ducks were in a row. Their site had all the services and we were able to turn that around very quickly. Where others, there may be some time lags, as noted before, needing to conduct an ESA. And just if I can elaborate on the environmental site assessment a little bit, one of the things that we've seen with respect to the program as it's matured as well was, and a change that we did make, when we first launched the program, we wanted an environmental site assessment and it needed to be no more than 5 years old. We changed that going through the program probably 6 months in, and allowed a letter of attestation, as long as there was nothing done to the property since the environmental site assessment was conducted initially, we would accept environmental site assessment that was older than 5 years. And on these new requirements and changes, we actually, if there was something found in the ESA 1, we asked for an ESA 2 because we want it to be a clean property, if you will. We still want that, but we stop at the environmental site assessment 1. And in the environmental site assessment, there is notes there. If the site is not deemed clean, what the remediating and action items are to make that site clean, and that's known and made available to the property owner. So they're going in with eyes wide open before purchase. What are the sectors and industrial users that represent the greatest opportunity? This information and guidance that could be useful to us in evaluating what sites in our region may be worthwhile being certified. Maybe I'll turn that over to anybody on my panel here, Heather, Joel, or Michelle. Do you have anything to add on that question? I don't really have, in my estimation, I don't really have any specific sectors. that I could highlight, but you may want to chime in there. I'll just leave it open for a second.
Yeah, I can take a stab there to Jeff's question. I mean, obviously in the region that you represent, Jeff, there's a lot of manufacturing opportunities, downstream oil and gas, energy projects. Those are all super hot right now. So any properties that would be appealing to a global investor audience that kind of fall into those buckets would be it'd be good to get them certified. I mean, the earlier question you had about the value, the benefit of this is really getting critical mass of certified sites so that the inventory represents Atlantic Canada well and gets these sites sold. It becomes a go-to resource. It gets marketed to a global audience, and it becomes almost a de rigueur that property development and municipalities and other players would use the resource and get their site certified and ready for those investor audiences. I hope that helps. I'll lean on my colleagues in the other Atlantic provinces perhaps to comment on what they're seeing.
Hi, yes. Also here in Newfoundland, Labrador, we're seeing a lot of hydrogen development. We're, seeing a lot of companies that want to avail of that type of work. But again, it's available. The program will be promoted to site selectors in general. So it could be any type of company that has an interest in establishing in Atlantic Canada.
Heather?
Yeah, I think I would probably just add pretty much the same comments as Joel and Michelle have. I know here in Nova Scotia, two sectors that really jump out right now would be the advanced manufacturing and hydrogen. So yeah, just wanted to add those thoughts.
Thanks, Heather. Joel and Michelle. Last question on the Q&A is from anonymous attendee. What type of company is Turner Drake and Partners? So they are a property tax brokerage and valuation service company. So they do a little bit of everything for us. They adjudicate the certification applications and provide recommendations and reports on the applications and ensure its validity on a desktop review stage. So they do that from Halifax. I believe it's kind of midway through. And then just towards the latter end of the certification process, once we collect all the documentation that we need, as was noted, the zoning information, verification of services, copy of the ESA, property ownership, tax document, move from there. They then put boots on the ground. They go there and take pictures, do some pictometry, send us some photos as well, aerial photos that we use in promotion. But also they've provided other services for us as well that we availed of for the property owners that asked, I'm uncertain, what type of price I'm going to put on my property. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a per acre or I'm going to do kind of a overall purchase for the property itself as a whole. So they would provide recommendations to the landowner or municipality and do that evaluation service. Jeff has another question. Can an economic agency make an application on behalf of private landowner with the written permission? Yes, absolutely. So in the application through the Atlantic Canada Certified Sites portal, are you the property owner or are you a representative of a property owner? So it has an opportunity for you to put that information in there. If you're not the property owner, but you're representing said property owner, you can identify it within the application, and we take that into consideration as we move forward, and the same process for certification takes place from that point forward. So any other comments or questions? Oh, I think another one just came in from Robert Adu. What are some of the channels that are used to reach the site selector audience? Print, social, conference. Yeah, so we created a suite of assets for the program to promote it. Most of it has been through digital media, the last number of campaigns. but there are in-person conferences over the last year that this is made available, and we're actually heading to the west coast of the U.S. Next month, and that will be one of the tools we'll bring along with us as we go there. My colleagues on the provincial level have it again as a tool that they use as well when needed, when they have different investors looking for development property, and it's at their disposal. Jeff has another question. Can you list portions of his site, a large PID that may not have been subdivided, but the owner would for a sale? Yes, you can. And we have a couple of those currently right now. It's different phases of development for this particular example I'm referring to in Nova Scotia. They have one portion that's of a larger portion of land that already has the ESA done on it. The services are there. It kind of would be a slam dunk for certification, but the plan is to continue further developing the other portions. So by all means, you can list the portion of a site as long as it meets the minimum requirements. And one of the things that we've done, again, as the program matured, we reduced the sizes of the minimum requirements. We kept the 20,000 square feet for a vacant building, but we reduced the size of the acreage from 5 to 3 and from 10 in industrial down to 5 total acres. And then we added that 0.5 acre for downtown location, and as well as the mixed use category. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I will be sending out an email later today to all participants. I thank you very much for attending. Thanks for your questions. Look forward to next steps, and if you may have questions after I send the email out or want to take advantage of that or hop on a call one-on-one to answer any specific questions you may have about your particular site or how to take advantage of the program, we're more than happy to be able to help you and get you started on the certification journey for your site. It is quite easy to take advantage of, where it is all online on AtlanticCanadaCertifiedSites.com. Once you sign up for that account, you can begin the process, and I'll move you through the certification process as quickly as I can, and getting the different steps and knocked off as quick as we can, and get your site certified and listed on our website. So again, thank you very much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.